Hello. I was standing in an electric scooter repair shop last winter, watching a guy argue with the counter over his Xiaomi. It had bricked itself the night before. His account had been flagged for some anti-theft edge case, and until Xiaomi's server said otherwise, the scooter was a paperweight. He kept repeating the same sentence. I bought this, I own this, and the mechanic kept giving him the same shrug. The scooter didn't agree. That was the moment the phrase, "you own it," started to sound like a translation error, something the marketing department writes and the firmware never reads. Once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Hi, I'm Brian. Today, I'll show you which scooters can be switched off and which 5 truly stay yours. Start with the Xiaomi Mi electric scooter line from the original M365 through the current Scooter 5. Xiaomi's own support documentation says the motor lock, triggered from the Mi Home app, holds even after the scooter is powered off and on again. In 2019, the security firm Zimperium demonstrated something worse. Their proof-of-concept app could scan for any M365 within 100 meters and lock it without the owner's password and without the owner's phone. Xiaomi acknowledged the flaw as a known issue. The scooter's brain answered to whoever spoke Bluetooth first. Segway-Ninebot uses the same architecture on its ES, Max, and F-Series lines. Same server-verified motor lock tied to a Segway-Ninebot cloud account. This matters because Xiaomi's scooters were originally built by Segway-Ninebot, so the lock lineage isn't 2 separate design choices, it's one. The Bird, Lime, and Spin scooters resold on eBay after fleet retirement are a stranger case. The hardware carries factory geofencing and can be disabled by the original operator, even years after the rental service moved on. Aluminum in your garage, brain in someone else's data center. Then there's Unagi, whose Model 1 was sold under an all-access subscription. Miss a payment and service ends. The physical scooter is fine. The permission structure around it isn't. If Unagi ever stops running the servers that verify those subscriptions, no one has confirmed publicly what happens next. The pattern in every one of these cases is the same. You paid full retail. The company you paid still holds an off switch, and depending on the model, so does anyone within 100 meters, so does a fleet operator you've never met, and so does an accounting system watching for a lapsed subscription. So the useful question isn't which app-locked scooter is safest. It's whether the machine you paid for becomes a paperweight the morning the company running its servers stops picking up the phone. A small handful of scooters pass that test, and the reason they pass is boring on purpose. Apollo's Phantom Pro and Ghost ship with a companion app, but the scooter is fully functional without it. No account required for the motor to turn. Delete the app, throw away the phone, the throttle still works. Voro Motors' EMOVE Cruiser is even simpler. Physical, key ignition, no app at all, no cloud account. If Voro closed its doors this afternoon, the cruiser in your garage still starts tomorrow with the key already on your ring. The VSETT 10 Plus and 11 Plus use an NFC key card for anti-theft, but the card communicates with the scooter directly over a short-range chip. There is no server in the loop, it's a local lock. The Kaabo Wolf Warrior and Mantis rely on what enthusiasts call the EY3 throttle module. Ride modes, speed limits, and P settings live on the throttle itself. There is no over-the-air firmware push and no server-side account. The scooter is a closed local system, which the tuner community has been quietly documenting for years. Dualtron, built by Minimotors, uses the same EY3 architecture. The Minimotors app exists, and it's optional. Every function of a Dualtron works with the app uninstalled. Every Dualtron sold since the model line began was built without a server-side off switch because the switch was never designed into the platform. The line separating the two groups isn't price and isn't performance. Xiaomi and Dualtron span more than a 5-fold price gap. The line is the presence or absence of a phone home. Every scooter on the first list depends on a company to keep breathing for the motor to keep working. Every scooter on the second list doesn't. Which brings the argument back to the counter of that repair shop. The guy holding the receipt for his Xiaomi was right about the receipt. He owned the aluminum, the wheels, the battery cells, the deck, the handlebars, the LED, the brake pads, the tires, the paint on the frame, the serial number stamped underneath. What he didn't own was the permission to use any of it. When a permission is stored on someone else's server, the word ownership has already left the building. and the receipt in his hand was documenting the wrong transaction. If this was useful, hit like and subscribe. The scooters that pass the stress test aren't smarter. They're just wired to answer to the person holding them.